12 inches in a foot.
12 months in a year.
12 zodiac signs.
Jesus' 12 apostles.
Arthur's 12 nights at the round table.
And Lucas's 12 groomsmen. Welcome everyone to the fanciest episode of 12 Delves yet. Episode 3, where I, Lucas Smith, your host, and soon-to-be married man, lead my guest, one of my 12 groomsmen, into a deeper dive of our relationship through different topics, games, and a little bit of drinking. Joining me today is arguably the third most famous MJ of all time, Michael Jr. himself, Michael Montero. Purple Mike is a goofy, chilled out, revolving door of interest by day, and a curly-headed, slender cowboy by night. He just returned from his trip from Mexico. Let's start this off with a shot. He poured our shots, so these are gallon shots. He called them what?
Mexican shots.
Mexican shots. All right, ready? Cheers. Let's see how this goes. All right. That wasn't too bad, honestly. Okay, so some things to start off the pod. Just off the bat, things I always go over. That camera that's right there, not everyone is comfortable in front of it, but we've made a lot of videos in the past together when we were growing up, YouTube videos, stuff like that. So hopefully you're more comfortable in it than other people may be.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, of course. But we're gonna have a conversation here, and it's gonna be fun. There's different things we'll get into. So once we get into like the first topic, you're gonna forget that's even there. But we're having a conversation the whole time. Most of the time, I start off with how I met my groomsmen. Again, with you, you're one that we've known each other our entire lives. You're the first groomsman that I've had on the pod that is younger than me. So to answer the question, I will always ask the older people. No, I do not remember your birth. My earliest memories of you, though, were probably around, well, to start off, we're first cousins. Our mothers are identical, not for sure, but most likely identical twins. And
for sure.
Yeah, if you know them or seen a picture of them or seen them standing next to each other, like you would know that they probably most likely are. But they're identical twins, so we share half the same DNA, which is pretty interesting. But
we do.
Yeah, because they have the same DNA, and we are half of our parents or whatever, so we share half of the same DNA. A lot of my friends, and you've told me before, a lot of your friends say that we look similar.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't see it too much.
Yeah, I don't see it that much, but a bunch of people tell me all the time.
But I think it may be both. It may be because we're both like tall and lanky and skinny.
Yeah.
But like our hair is completely different.
Yeah.
At least like our eyes. You have green eyes. Mine are brown. There's a bunch of differences, but yeah, we have half the same DNA. So if that's not for nothing, it's something. So, so my earliest memories of you, I'll go into it first. I was probably like 4 years old of my earliest memories. Again, it's nothing specific. Obviously, we grew up together. Like, we were together all the time when we were babies. One of the earliest things, I've mentioned this to you before, but it was when you and Matthew were very young, and you guys your first language was Spanish, and I didn't know Spanish as well. And I remember every time I would hang out with you guys or go to your house, I would be like a little bit intimidated because like you guys were speaking like an alien language to me.
Yeah.
So I remember like as a kid, I would like hide from you guys at your house. Like we'd get there or whatever, and I'd go and like hide in the closet or I'd hide behind a bed or something. And then you guys would be like looking for me for a while until like your mom or my mom would like find me and be like, come out here or whatever.
No, I don't remember you hiding from me, but yeah, my earliest memories of you are me trying to talk to you, and I can't talk to you because I'm speaking Spanish and you don't understand Spanish.
Do you remember me sitting there like confused?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. One thing to mention too is that I don't know if this is a disadvantage or an advantage, but Matthew will be on the pod eventually. Matthew's your younger brother. You guys are what, like a year apart?
I got 2 more brothers to be on the pod.
Yeah, but the thing why I bring up Matthew specifically is because I grew up with you guys pretty much being twins.
Yeah.
Like you guys were both like a few years younger than me and grew up around the same time, and though you guys are very different, even looked like pretty different, it was always like Michael and Matthew, you know? Right. Like I don't remember at all a time when it was just you. Like obviously I was a baby back then. But so like all my stories for the most part have to do with Michael and Matthew. So I feel a little bit bad for Matthew because like I'm gonna go over stuff here with you that like Matthew will have to go over also. But whatever, do you have any other specific or even not specific memories of when we were like 4 or 5 years old?
No, I remember. I don't know how old I was when you had your place, the townhouse where you like lived in the loft. Where was that?
Yeah, in Lakeside Meadow.
Yeah, playing Mario on the and Star Wars on the game, not the GameCube, the Game Boy.
Oh, the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Did you have a Game Boy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I remember you guys got me the Mario game for a Game Boy.
I remember what happened to your Game Boy. you want to tell that story? I'm sure your mom loves the story.
That was the DS.
Oh, that was the DS. But yes, tell the story real brief from your perspective of what happened to your DS.
Okay, so for Christmas, back when we used to believe in Santa Claus.
This is the second pod that Santa comes up, by the way.
Santa decided to get me and Matthew each a DS. So we had 2 DSs, whatever. We liked the DSs, but like we were always very like curious kids, and we saw like a YouTube video, and we were little too, but like we saw a YouTube video about.
You guys are probably like 9-10 years old.
Yeah, about like microchips and computers and stuff, and then Matthew started talking to me about the microchip. I'm like, oh, we can get a microchip from the DS, whatever, and we have 2, so we can just share one or whatever. So we ended up smashing a DS.
Get a hammer outside.
To get the microchip.
And did your mom catch you guys in the act? Or
No.
Do you remember what happened?
We were inside, and then we had like someone's old phone, so like it was a phone that didn't work anymore. So we were trying to get the like at this point we were done with DS, and we were trying to get the
You guys are collecting microchips at this point.
So we were like in the playroom throwing this phone at the walls. And then my mom walks in and she's like, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we're getting the microchip. Look, we already got the one from the DS." And then she freaked out.
That's an amazing story. That's definitely one of my favorites. But and then I remember she made you guys like do a bunch of chores to make up the money to buy a new DS just to donate it.
Yeah.
So it was a life lesson there, but at least you got your microchip. That's a great story. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much a summation of how we knew each other, or how we know each other through the years after when we were 4 or 5 that we don't remember too much. Like, we grew up together super close. Like, I went with you guys everywhere. We played a bunch of video games, but at the same time we were playing outside all the time on the trampoline, making videos, playing with Legos, a bunch of different stuff. We went to Disney a bunch as kids. I was gonna say, I remember, like, when I think of, like, as a kid playing outside, I don't even picture it in my own neighborhood. I pictured it in your West Miami house, like us riding bikes and like getting into trouble.
Yeah, that's where I pictured it too.
So like, I mean, whatever. At my house, like most of the time when I played outside, it was just like throwing the football with my dad or like playing basketball against him. But I wasn't like messing around out there like I was with you guys. Like, so now we'll get into the first segment. Something I forgot to mention. Michael has only seen like the first 10, 15 you said of both of the first 2 podcasts. Yeah. So everything that's coming at him right now will be a complete surprise. The only part that he knows about is this next part, where it's the questions. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions that you kind of should know about me, but also are on borderline, like kind of hard. Right. Obviously, the questions are different for each person to make sure that they don't know the answers coming in. Mm-hmm. Your questions, I say similar with John's. I think you might get 2 out of 3. If you get more than that, I'll be a little bit surprised. If you get less than that,
3 questions total.
So it's 5 questions total. Okay. The first 4 are about me, or my past, anything like that, and the last one is Carla related. Oh, okay. So like for example, I asked Kevin where Carla was from, Ecuador. Yeah, okay. So we'll get into it. And then if you get the question right, you're supposed to take a big chug of your. If you get it right, I'm supposed to drink whatever. Vice versa. If you get it right. If you get it wrong, I mean. So first question. Let's get into it. So we both went to St. Kevin at the same time. I was 2 years older than you in grade level. Yeah. In 8th grade, they always do a thespian play. They put on a play. Oh. My question for you is, what was my 8th grade play? And a second on top of that question is, who did I play in my 8th grade play?
So it's High School Musical. I don't know if it was like a number of the High School Musical. Okay. But it was High School Musical, and then you were Sharpay's brother.
Wow.
Ryan or something?
Wow. Yeah. That's good. I thought you might get that one. I didn't think you'd get his name. But that's good. That's 1 down. Yeah. You're on the board.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Second question. This has to do with when we were little too. I think you'll get this one because I feel like we've mentioned it multiple times. But before Marcus was born, he was not on this planet yet. We were 8, around that age. 8, 7, 6, around there. we decided, you, me, and Matthew, this is all three of us, decided that we weren't going to allow Marcus to become a punk, you know? We were going to discipline him. We took it upon ourselves as children to be the ones that would set Marcus off onto the right path. So we decided that we had a certain stuffed animal in your playroom, and we decided we were going to beat it up and pretend that it was Marcus misbehaving. And pretend like, oh, this when Marcus misbehaves, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna beat him up and like make sure that he's a good boy.
Yeah.
Like us, right? So my question was, which you already answered, what was the stuffed animal?
Pikachu.
It was a Pikachu.
Yeah.
Do you have any history as to where that Pikachu came from? Because I have no idea.
I think it was like one at a fair or something like that.
It was like a 3-4 foot Pikachu.
Right.
It was like really big.
It was a huge Pikachu, so I think we got it at a fair or something like that.
All right, cool. You're 2 for 2. So
Yeah.
I'm almost done with my drink already. Before we go on to the third one, I'm gonna get a refill. All right, new segment on the pod, brought to you here. First time, episode 3.
Oh.
Because Michael was so generous with pouring our shots, you're gonna make our drinks for us and
Okay.
take us through your process of your ratio of what.
Well, okay, so I do like beer, and I love drinking beer, but I also like liquor, and when I drink liquor, I want to drink as little amount of liquid as possible to get fucked up. So
You don't like ice, that's why you don't like
yeah, right,
ice.
because the ice waters it down and then it takes forever. So
Okay,
usually
okay.
That's pretty good amount.
That's probably where I would have gone.
I already got some in here, so
Something light.
yeah.
And why? Okay, I forgot to mention also something I haven't mentioned in any of the pods actually. Every time that I've been drinking with somebody, I ask them what their drink of choice is.
Yeah.
I asked you. You said vodka or tequila Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
I usually don't like very sugary drinks. I usually like kind of like it plain. And I feel like vodka and tequila both they're kind of clean coming down. I don't get like very strong hangovers compared to like beer. Or if you mix beer and stuff, then you get really bad hangovers.
What about it? Did you pick Sprite just because it's easy, or is there specifically you like more? You like it more than water, or
there's no caffeine? Because I do like rum and coke, but then I don't like drinking the caffeine when I'm drinking so much.
There's no caffeine in Sprite.
No.
That's news to me. All right, well, you're killing it on the questions. So hopefully these last 3 are a little bit harder for you. We'll just get straight into it. What is the worst injury I've ever experienced? There's a few different answers I'll accept here, but I think there's one that's like probably the number one.
Yeah, I know you hurt your ankle a couple times bad, but I feel like the worst is probably when you cut your foot with the glass, right?
Dude, you're fucking killing it right now. So my thought process was I would take the glass as an answer. Probably the worst one was my ankle though.
Oh, okay.
I'll pull up a picture of my ankle here. It was like fat as hell.
Yeah.
I sprained it playing basketball. I landed on Daniel's foot playing basketball. And it rolled. I went to the doctor and they didn't even say that it wasn't even officially a sprain. It wasn't anything according to the doctor. But it looked terrible. It was super fat. It bruised like all the way up to my shin.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when you sent that picture.
But
it was crazy. It was a bunch of different colors.
It was a bunch of different colors. I remember also. So the weekend after that, me and Carla did the color run, the 5K color run, where they throw the different powder at you or whatever. And I remember sending a snap after the color run of like my chest, and it was all purple and green from the color run. And I sent it to you and Matthew. I don't remember again. It's gonna be an issue of remembering if it was you or Matthew specifically. But one of you like called me and was like, "Dude, are you okay?" Like I showed that to my dad, and he's like freaking out. like you guys thought the bruising had like moved up my body or whatever. It was I
don't remember.
on
So
my
that
chest.
may not have been me.
Yeah,
it could have been me. I just don't remember.
No, yeah, but I remember. So yeah, I would say that's my worst injury ever. But on top of that, another thing, the glass in my ankle. That was when I was like probably like 10 years old. I was like swinging a trash bag trying to get it into the trash can, and it had broken glass in there. I clipped my ankle and had to get 7 stitches. Yeah. Another bad one was when I had my braces. I don't know if you remember this, but when I had my braces, I was at my friend's house like wrestling in the trampoline. Mm-hmm. and I threw him down, and he like grabbed both of my arms, and I like swung down with no arms to catch myself, and I hit my like lip right here, like my braces like cut through my lip, and I had to get like a glue stitches right here.
I vaguely remember that.
I was like in 4th or 5th grade.
I vaguely remember.
I brought this up as a question though because you and your brothers have had an extensive list of injuries.
Yeah, what would you say is my worst injury?
I would say your worst injury is probably the clavicle.
Yeah.
Breaking your clavicle.
Yeah, probably.
But
the
you
most painful one was when I got like I sprained I went to like jumping jamboree, the bounce house place when I was a kid, and like I not like it didn't hurt that day when I went home and I was fine that day, but I woke up and my neck like I could only like have it on one side. I couldn't turn it like past that, and if I turned it, it would like it would flex itself, and it was like where it was whatever was happening, like the muscle, it was on the nerve, so it was like extremely painful and very scary because I couldn't move my neck and stuff like that. So that's probably like the worst in terms of like pain and intensity. But yeah, like clavicles suck too because it's like in your shoulder, so like any little movement is like you feel
didn't the neck thing have something to do with the fact that you had broken your clavicle or no?
No, I've always had a bad neck since I was born. It's what's the word? Congenital, right? I have a congenital neck thing.
What does that mean?
I thought congenital means like it's something you get when you're born.
Maybe I have no idea. That's the first time I'm hearing this word.
That's my big word that might be wrong or right.
That's the word of the day. We'll put the definition here just to make sure. But
yeah,
I believe
when I was born, I had like my head was
That's right.
My head was lopsided. So when I was a baby, I would always have my head like tilted to this side.
And you had a massive cone head. I remember we would always like joke about that.
Right. So one side of my neck became a lot stronger and one became a lot weaker, and I still get cramps every now and then, but
really on your neck?
Yeah.
Is it when you do something specific or just like you wake up in the morning?
Sometimes when I yawn, because it's like it's that type of flex. Yeah. When I yawn and it like locks up my jaw, and I just gotta be like, oh, it sucks.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't really realize that it was like a lifetime thing that you had like neck problems like that.
Yeah. I don't get like pain when it's not cramped though, so that's good. It's just like it doesn't feel even.
And so Matthew and Marcus right now is literally dealing with a knee injury. You've never had any knee injuries, right?
Yeah, thank God. Not gonna work.
Yeah, I know it's never too late.
No, but I've always been like always try to be careful with my knees, but nah, they for sure have like weaker knees than me because both of them dislocated their knees doing like stretches and shit like that. Like I've never felt like like my knees are gonna even close doing stretches, you know. Like,
and you broke. What was it that you broke when you were like a child in Dadeland Mall? That was your leg or your arm?
That was like, okay, these bones, the ones that like go out to your fingers, but on the toe, I had I forgot the medical term, but it's like a crack in the little crack. It's not like fractures when a piece breaks off. Whatever, it was like a crack in that. So whatever, I was running in Dolphin Mall. Like they used to, now it's like a breakfast play area. So they have like a giant bacon. They have a giant egg. Before it used to be like
bowl of cereal.
Yeah, like no, and then the fish. Like it was like a beach area, and then like it was like this matte sand, and the mat was like raised like 3 inches above the ground. And I had just taken off my shoes and I was like ready to go play in the play area. So I took off my shoes and I just ran in and like I hit like my foot like that on the little mat and like I twisted or whatever like that. So that play session ended real fast.
All right, well you are 3 for 3. If you end up getting all 5 of these, like that's insane. You'll definitely be top of the leaderboard thus far. This next question though, it's going to be tough because if I'm going to be honest, it's hard for me to know the answer to this. Okay. So this is a really tough one. But obviously, throughout our lives, I've been to many of your birthday parties and you have been to many of mine, if not all of them, for the most part. My question to you is, can you recall specifically 3 of my birthday parties?
Shit, okay.
If you get these as fast as you've gotten the other ones, I'd be like in shock.
Yeah.
You're ripping through these questions right now.
This one's tough. Well, the ranch twice.
Damn. See, that's I didn't think of that, but yes, you're right. I got to the ranch twice in the last 3 or 4 years with my friends.
And then,
real quick, we should mention this because it's probably going to come up in general. The ranch is a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
And when we just say the ranch, it sounds like no one knows what we're talking about. But explain the ranch a little bit. before?
So it's in this little town of the population is 3,000. It's called Frostproof.
In Florida.
And it's like 2 hours, hour and a half from Orlando, southwest of Orlando, and we have property there, and then we have cattle, we have horses, we have sheep, and we have 4-wheelers, bikes, so I just love going out there, being in nature, riding 4-wheelers, seeing the animals.
Yeah, and you guys have had it for like what? 6,
It was
7 years, 8 years maybe?
We got it officially when
2014 maybe, I think? You got the
land.
land.
It was like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
So one of those years.
So it's been a while now.
Yeah.
But it is super peaceful out there. Like, it's an awesome place to just like get away from life for a weekend or whatever. So I've gone two of the last like 4 years. I've gone with a huge group of friends like Michael, Matthew, out there just for my birthday, and it's always like a super good time. But that's definitely gonna come up.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention what I'm wearing. I'm wearing an outfit based on you, as I have for the other episodes. This one is ranch based. It's on the outside I'm hooting. And on the inside, I'm hollering. Little Kermit the Frog graphic here. But he's also wearing the cowboy hats. That's based on the ranch. On top of that, I'm wearing Chubbies, which a lot of you may solely attribute to me. But
shout out to Gabby.
In the summer of 2019, me, Michael, and Gabby worked at the Chubbies outlet store together. And that was a super fun summer.
Yeah.
And then lastly, this was a little like kind of Secret Santa gift, but it wasn't specifically at me, but it was like a game that we played with the cousins, and I ended up winning the socks that Michael brought to that game. And this is them here. Hopefully we get a good look at them. If not, I'll put a better picture of it. But it's a sexy little anime girl in a bunny onesie, and it says be cool, honey bunny.
Yeah.
So this was Michael's decision to bring these to the...
I brought them for John, but it's a good thing you got them.
Yeah, John will have too much fun with these socks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my outfit. Inspired by our relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, so whatever. We got the ranch birthdays out of the way. That's 2 birthdays so far.
And then I do remember one where you had a bounce house in the back of your house, and like we played sports, and you had like your school friends. I don't remember what birthday that was.
So again, that's another one that I did twice. I think I did them back to back.
Yeah, I feel like you've done them both.
And that was like we played like football, basketball, and then there was a relay race through the bounce house. And when people got there, they picked out different like colored pennies, and depending on what team you're on, and then there was a whole competition throughout the day or whatever. And then at the end there was like the winning team got a little trophy, some hats, stuff like that. Right. That's good. That's 3. That's fun. 4 if you want to count the sports one twice, which is crazy. Yeah. Honestly, when I was thinking back at my own birthdays, I could think of the sports one, and I don't know if you remember this because it was like a pretty early on birthday, but I had one that was like it was like a backwards party is what we called it, and it was like Ninja Turtle themed as well, but like everyone's shirts were inside out. We had like name tags, and everyone's name was spelled backwards, and it was like
I don't remember that.
Super weird. I don't know exactly why that was the theme of that, but I was pretty young, so I didn't think you'd remember that one. Another one was like when I was like 3 years old or 4 years old. It was like a Monsters Inc. themed birthday party, but you were super small also. And then lastly, the one that I remember was like watching Finding Nemo when I was like 5 years old. Also, you were still super young still. And now that I think about it, we also saw Ice Age 2. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
That one I was a little bit older.
Right.
That was like 11.
You used to love Ice Age.
I loved Ice Age.
I remember that.
I loved Ice Age. But yeah, we saw Ice Age 2 and we rented one of those like movie theater rooms or whatever for my birthday. But yeah.
Yeah, Ice Age was fun.
Dude, that's good. You are 4 for 4. You are not going to get this last one about Carla. Okay. This is the Carla question. You're not going to get this one without help. I have a multiple choice just in case you don't know it off the bat. The chances that you know it off the bat are, if you get this, it'll be insane. Okay. But I'll ask the question anyway. Who is Carla's celebrity crush?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't expect you to know. I'll throw in the multiple choice here. I'll throw up a picture of each of these people also in the video. But we have A, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. B, Shawn Mendes. C, Hugh Jackman. D, Tim Tebow. E, Bradley Cooper. Or F, Walter Hobbs. Is there anyone there that you don't
Walter
know?
Hobbs. I don't know Walter Hobbs.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a picture. I didn't expect you to know Walter Hobbs. This is Walter Hobbs. He's in Elf. That's probably the only movie you may know him. He's the dad from Elf. Hey guys, Editing Lucas here real quick. Want to throw in a pretty funny insight that I now noticed only while editing and looking up pictures for Walter Hobbs. So I came up with this list with Carla, and she told me to put Walter Hobbs in there because she thought it would be funny. While looking for a picture of Walter Hobbs, I realized he's not the actor who plays the dad from Elf. Walter Hobbs is the character in Elf, and the actor behind him is actually named James Caan. So, little shout out to James Caan, and I just thought it was funny that we keep referring to Walter Hobbs, which is literally the character from Elf, not the actor that played that. But we'll continue now. Thank you.
I feel like that would be a Carla celebrity crush. Damn. Okay, so I'm between Hugh Jackman, Bradley Cooper, and Walter Hobbs.
Any reason why you're between those two, or why you eliminated The Rock, Shawn Mendes, and Tim Tebow?
No offense, but Carla doesn't seem like a Rock type of girl. Shawn Mendes.
Is it because me and The Rock don't resemble the same type of vibe?
Don't have the same type of energy. Shawn Mendes. I mean, she probably likes Shawn Mendes, but I feel like that's like a little more after her. Then Hugh Jackman, he's just like a big, famous, like handsome guy.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Then Tim Tebow, and then Bradley Cooper's another just big, handsome, famous guy. But then Walter Hobbs, that does seem like some weird thing Carla would have.
He's the only person here that you don't know, so it is maybe a tell if that's what you're going with.
I'm gonna go with Walter Hobbs. Yeah.
Final answer, Walter Hobbs? It is not Walter Hobbs.
Bradley Cooper?
It is not Bradley Cooper.
Oh. Hugh Jackman?
It's Hugh Jackman. That was good. That was good, though. You singled him out as one of the top 3 out of the 6 options. So that was good. Yeah. That was pretty good. Dude, you killed the question part. I would say you got 4.5 right.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's going to get all 5 right. Those first few questions, maybe I should have made them like way harder, but it is what it is. You killed that. So cheers to the first segment.
Cheers.
We are through the first segment. Moving forward now, you don't know what is to come.
No.
So what are you thinking will come out of this podcast? What are you expecting?
I honestly have no idea, but I know you're a creative guy, especially with cameras and stuff, so I know you come up with something good.
Okay. Well, actually, this next segment is the segment that I told you right before we filmed this. You haven't seen this filmed yet, but it's the groomsmen draft.
Oh, okay.
So for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, I have 12 groomsmen, hence the 12 delves. And then including me in this draft, there's 13 of us. One person will not be drafted in this draft.
Oh, wow.
So that person will come up with an idea of like what that person is, what that person means, the significance of that person once we see what the category is. Okay. But Michael will pick a random category, and then we will go back and forth drafting members of the team. And just in case for the people that don't know each other very well, I asked them a few questions, going over it again for the 3rd time. I have their age, occupation, favorite movie, favorite artist, and favorite sport. So I showed him this before just so he has like kind of an idea of what we're doing in this part. The only person here that you don't really know at all is Rod, which is Carla's sister's boyfriend. But other than that, you've met everyone here. You know everyone here, like to different varying degrees, but you know everyone here pretty well. Yeah. So this will be good because Kevin didn't know like 3 or 4 of them. Right. And John didn't know. I think John knew everyone actually, but it'll be good for you. Yeah. So in Kevin's episode, spoiler if you haven't seen it yet, we got Zombie Apocalypse Survival Squad.
I didn't see that part.
And I should have taken it out of here again, but I didn't. If you pull that out, we'll put it to the side. We'll do something new because I have 12. Right. For John's, we had an ox battle.
An ox battle?
Yeah, like whoever could put together the best like music for a function or whatever. Like ox, like music ox.
I thought you meant like animal ox.
Exactly. No. So that's what we had. If you pull out either one of those, we'll switch it up. But let's see what you get.
all-out steel cage brawl to the death.
Oh my God, this is an intense one.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got all-out steel cage brawl to the death. So we are killing each other in this round. This is about how to kill each other in a steel cage. The way I picture this is in the WWE ring.
Okay, yeah.
Steel
Right,
cage.
that's what I'm thinking.
and we want to kill. We are looking to kill.
Okay.
At the end of this, there will be one team alive and all other people will be dead. One person will not be chosen. We'll figure out what to do with them as part of this scenario. But let's do a rock, paper, scissors, shoot. One out of one to see who goes first. You ready? Here you go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right. Scissors beats paper. I will go first. Man, this is tough. This is tough. If we were looking to straight up kill someone, we're in a steel cage, so there's no swords or guns or anything like that. It's just body on body, all out steel cage, brawl to the death. I think my first pick is gonna be Matthew.
No, that was mine, bro. That was my
I think it's gonna be Matthew Montero, your brother. Obviously, you and your two brothers have experience in like jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. I don't think anyone else here has any experience in that sense. But and then on top of that, I just feel like Matthew's like probably the strongest out of you three. No, we're in it. We're in it as well. Yeah, we're
draft ourselves.
We could draft ourselves. You could draft me, and I could draft you, or whatever it is.
Okay, I might have to draft myself then.
Then that's what you think. That's your pick.
Yeah, bro. I trust myself.
Trust yourself. No, it's always good to bet on yourself. Honestly, after that, because I mentioned you two are the only experience. I mean, Mark is a little bit too, but again, he's younger, so it's a little bit rough.
Messed up right now.
Oh yeah, if we go with right now, he's screwed. But because of that, I think I'm gonna go with Josh. Josh is probably what I would consider like the next strongest person here, and obviously strength is a good quality to have. And if we're trying to kill people with our our bare hands,
Josh and Gabby, but I feel like Josh doesn't have a killer in him.
Maybe that's true. Maybe Josh will start feeling bad, like not want to kill people, but that's good. All right, so I mean,
I'm gonna have to go with Gabby then.
Go with Gabby.
You know, Gabby's not the tallest guy, but he's pretty strong, and I feel like he's got the dog in him. That dog, you know, he can get after.
Fair enough. I'm not kidding. I think this next part, with those four out of the way, this is all a toss up. I have no idea who to choose.
Yeah, John's definitely not a killer.
John's maybe not a killer.
Or Garrett.
Garrett, Daniel.
He's strong though.
Who, Garrett?
Yeah.
Garrett is strong. We'll give him that. He's got big arms.
Kevin's probably pretty strong too, right?
Possibly. I'm not, and I'm here. And I don't know if I'm a killer either. Let me see. Let me go through this for a second. Marcus is kind of priority here because he knows a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but I feel like I don't know if he's big enough, strong enough to overpower anyone, even if he does know a little bit of mixed martial arts. I think I'm gonna go with Ricky. Ricky goes to the gym a lot. He's very athletic, very strong, and I think if it came down to it, if you needed to, if we were in an all-out steel cage brawl to the death, if it's him or another man, I think he'd kill someone. I don't know if that's a fucked up thing to say, but I think he could do it.
I think
Speak through your thought process here.
Yeah. I'm between Marcus or Garrett right now. Garrett, you know, he's big and strong, but I don't think he's got the killer in him. But I know Marcus has the killer in him if he needs to have the killer in him. So, and we do not have. Okay, I need a big guy. I do need a big guy. We don't have the biggest team. We got me and Gabby, so
okay.
We need a big guy.
Okay, so you're picking up Garrett.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna take him just so that you don't, and because I think he's a good pick anyway. I'm gonna take Marcus. We've been tossing him around here for a little bit.
You got both my brothers.
I got both your brothers. I think they are most necessary in this all-out steel cage brawl to the death. I think Marcus, if once we wait for him to heal a little bit, He's got that killer instinct in him as well, and he knows how to take someone down. He could probably kill someone with like a toothpick or whatever it is. Whatever's at his disposal. Last 6 are rough.
Yeah.
Speak me through what you're thinking. Maybe you look at some of the categories that they put as maybe some instinct of what they can help with.
I know you're
talk shit about me. I've hyped myself up way too much in these last 2 drafts.
Your fighting knowledge mostly comes from WWE.
Yeah, so I can do some suplexes.
No, that's not.
Off the top rope.
Then Chris, I feel like Chris got the dog in him, but maybe he's not the strongest guy. Then Kevin, I just don't know that well, but he's a big guy, so he can probably put some damage down.
Smother some.
This guy, Rod, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Rod, and his favorite movie is School of Rock, Elton John, and he's a dentist, so like...
Nothing about that screams.
Yeah, right.
Screams, I will kill you.
Steel cage, yeah. John, John's a great guy, but he's not a fighter either. And Daniel, I don't know that well, but his favorite movie is The Dark Knight Rises, so...
He's got some Batman in him.
Maybe he's got some secret Batman in him, right? I think I'm gonna have to go with Kevin.
Man, I was probably gonna pick Kevin
Go
next.
with Kevin.
I was probably gonna pick Kevin next. That's a good pick. It's getting tough in these last few. I'm thinking about who would be the easiest to kill and try to get them out of my team. I don't want them. The problem is that it might be me, but we'll see. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to follow your thought process of what you said. I think Chris does have that dog in him. Chris is, his background is Mexican. He's got that Mexican dog in him. And because of that, maybe his blood will shine through here and he'll come out on top. I'm going to pick Chris on my team. This is the third time every draft I've picked him. So you got your 4 options left.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry. Right now, Rod is not in my...
Rod is dead last because you don't know anything about him.
I don't know anything about him. Then... Now I'm thinking about sports. Like, I know you can get pretty physical. I know he can get pretty physical.
Who's he?
John. So I know Lucas can get pretty physical. I know John can get pretty physical. I imagine Daniel probably gets physical, but I've never played anything with him. But I think I'm going to have to go with John.
Okay.
Just because I know him better. And I know he's got some competitiveness in him.
Alright.
So that'll help.
Alright, so last 3. We got me, we got Daniel, and we got Rod. Again, this is an all-out steel cage brawl to the death.
You're still here.
I'm still here. Daniel, he's going to hate this. He has been final 3 in all 3 drafts.
I just don't know Daniel that well either.
That's fine. But, and Rod. Rod is here, again, unfairly. Poor guy.
Poor Rod.
You just don't know him very well.
Yeah, for all I know, Rod can be a black belt.
Exactly. For all you know, he can be a black belt. He did play tennis in college. He was a college tennis player, so he's very athletic.
Tennis?
Maybe if they throw some chairs into the ring, he can swing them around. Just to let you pick between me and somebody else, I'm gonna go with either Daniel or Rod, and just to leave Daniel again as the last person. And because I think Rod is probably like a little bit more built than me or Daniel, I'm gonna pick Rod as my final pick on my team.
I'm gonna have to go with you over Daniel.
Damn,
just because of the trust factor, you know.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah.
Man.
Sorry,
okay.
Daniel.
We're all right. So Daniel, it is a long time coming. In 2 episodes, you were in the final 3 or 4, I believe, and you are not picked in the all-out steel cage brawl to the death. It may in part have to do with Michael not knowing you super well, but also I know you super well and I didn't choose you, so I'm sorry. But it is what it is. I guess in this scenario, if we were to pick what Daniel's role in this would be, maybe he's the ref.
He could be a good ref, I think.
He could be a good ref, or he could be like the announcer who calls us all in one by one.
He could be a good announcer.
But now that we have our teams, let's pull them here to the middle.
Let's fight.
Let's first go over who you picked.
Battle.
Exactly. Oh, it's a Pokemon. It's 6v6. Let's go over who we picked. I'll go first. My first pick was Matthew. Then I got Josh. Then I got Ricky. Then I chose Marcus. Then I got Chris, and then I got Rod as my final pick. So go over yours now.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have picked myself first. I would have picked Matthew first, but I do trust in my skills over anyone else's here besides Matthew. So I'm going to have to pick myself first. Then Gabby, because he got that dog in him. And he's strong too, you know. He's not the tallest guy, but he's strong. Then Garrett, he was the one I was a little worried about, like, killing ability, but I know he's strong. Then
You got that big boy.
John, I'm not sure about that killing ability either, but I know he's a competitive guy. Then, oh no, I picked Kevin before John, just because Kevin's a big guy, and I feel like we needed that strength too. Then, yeah, John after that, and then you, just because I trust you, you know.
And you don't trust Daniel.
Yeah. I don't trust Daniel.
Okay, so who do you think has the better team? I think this might be the closest draft yet. Let's see. Our first picks, you and Matthew, I think match up pretty well. Like Matthew maybe has a slight edge, but honestly not a huge edge. On top of that, then we got Josh as my like really strong pick.
Yeah.
But you also have Gabby, you also have Garrett. They're both really strong. Again, I have Ricky maybe to combat that. I think those three, our three top picks, kind of are pretty equal.
Yeah.
If we bring it down to our bottom three, so I got Rod, Chris, and Matt and Marcus. You got Kevin, John, and me.
I think we might win this. I mean, I don't know anything about
Rod,
but
Rod's got that killer instinct, maybe.
Rod's a wild card, but
Rod's the wild card that might kill me. Maybe he gets a double kill. Maybe he takes out me and Kevin, and then you got John.
Marcus is a pretty strong guy, but he still is 15. So I feel like you could probably beat Marcus in a fight to the death.
Okay. Maybe.
I feel like you probably have enough strength to beat Marcus in a fight to the death.
Yeah,
in a couple of years, I don't know, but for right now,
I would say in a couple of years, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But then John versus Chris. I mean, Chris is probably pretty strong, but John is a little bigger, right? A little taller. But that's kind of a toss-up. I think Chris could win that too. Oh, but this guy break bones, bro, right?
Chris does have brittle bone disease, so his bones are a little bit weaker. But honestly, he's been a lot better than when he's gotten older, or whatever. They've gotten stronger. But honestly, I think your point about Marcus is fair. If we were doing this 2 years from now, I might have the edge, but I think Marcus being 15 may give me the lower seed here. Yeah. So good game. I think you won. This is my third time losing. Every time I've picked the worst team. Again, sorry to Daniel. Michael doesn't trust you enough to put him on your team. This is also the first time that I picked first. So both of the other times I had to be the one to pick between the last two people. So I thought that was interesting that it wasn't me this time. But there we go. All out steel cage brawl to the death. What did you think about that category compared to the first two?
What are the first two again?
The Zombie Apocalypse Survival Squad and then the Ox Battle.
And Zombie Apocalypse probably would have been fun. And then the Ox Battle.
So you don't even know where you were picked in either of those.
Yeah, no.
You haven't seen them.
No. Shit, where was I picked?
You were chosen. For the Zombie Apocalypse, Kevin got you.
Oh, okay.
And for the Ox Battle, I chose you. So you were chosen maybe third or fourth.
Okay, good.
In the Ox Battle, and in the Survival Squad, I think third. For Kevin.
Okay, bet. Yeah.
But yeah, you were chosen middle of the pack for both of them.
Okay.
And for this one, you were first pick for your side of it. So that's good.
I'm bringing my average up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's good. We got the groomsmen draft out of the way. That's one of the funner segments, I would say.
Yeah.
More fun.
That was good.
I look forward to doing that every time because it's just fun to go through each person and like analyze them on a specific scenario. Poor Rod. Poor Daniel. These poor they just have disadvantage because you don't know them well. I say that as I leave them on the board each round, not picking them, but it is what it is. So our next segment, we have our shared media segment. So I told you about this earlier. For this segment, I wanted to bring up some sort of media.
Oh, okay.
It could be a song, artist, album, movie, TV show, video game, poem. Yeah. I always throw poem in there. I doubt anyone's going to bring up a poem that reminds me. That reminds us of our relationship. But any sort of media that reminds you of me or reminds you of our relationship or has some significance in our relationship.
WWE was the thing I thought of.
Okay.
For
yeah.
sure. That's the thing that first came to mind.
Uh-huh.
Is WWE. We spent a lot of time doing WWE. Really got into that with all the games and the action figures and all that. And even now, when I still see WWE stuff, I wonder if Lucas is looking at his WWE stuff still.
That's fair.
Yeah, then another one, and if I had to pick like a specific event, I guess it'd be that time we went in Miami.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We saw Big Show.
We saw Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, Alberto Del Rio. That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, and he smashed him through the table. That was cool.
Do you remember our like earliest introductions into WWE, like how we got into it?
Man, well, my dad always liked UFC, that type of thing. So I always was into fighting, and I knew it was fake fighting, but I still just
Wait, what do you mean fake?
I knew it was real fighting, performance fighting. But I still like to see people, jump off and land on each other, smash each other through tables. Like I was a little kid. It's still entertaining to me, honestly.
I agree.
But man, it was through a racing game actually. The first time I got introduced to it really was through a racing. It was like a WWE racing game.
WWE racing game.
Yeah, it was at my neighbor. Remember Brando?
I remember Brando.
Yeah, so one of my neighbors at the same neighborhood where he was shooting Nerf guns. Brando.
The same neighborhood I shot up.
Yeah. He had a WWE game on like the PS2 or PS3, and it was like WWE but racing. So like the Big Show had a car, the Undertaker had a car.
I never played that.
It was kind of like Mario Kart but WWE racing. So that's the first time I was really looking at it, and then I played the WWE game at the actual WWE game. After that, at my other friend's house, Alejandro. Remember Alejandro?
Oh, yeah, you play soccer with him.
Yeah, crazy guy, but yeah.
Shout out Alejandro if you're watching.
He's definitely not. But yeah, so that's the first time I played the game. But I don't remember when the first time I talked to you about it was.
Well, my introduction to WWE was definitely through you guys. Like I didn't watch it at all at home. And I don't remember you guys started watching it or something, but for sure it was through you guys.
The game. I think we got the game for this.
Maybe, yeah. I don't remember the order of things, but definitely through you guys. And then we were super into it.
Yeah.
I probably more than you guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But dude, I had the action figures. We both had the action figures. You had the steel cage actually, right?
Yeah.
You had the steel cage. We had the rings.
Yeah, so much shit.
We both had T-shirts. I had of Dolph Ziggler, CM Punk, and Big Show, John Cena.
Who did I have? I had the shirt that was pink. And
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler, right? Yeah.
You had that one. You loved Daniel Bryan. I remember that.
No, you love Daniel Bryan.
No, you love Daniel Bryan.
No.
So we had the shirts. We played the video game. We made videos of us being specific WWE guys.
The backyard wrestling.
The backyard wrestling on the trampoline.
Yeah.
I was always the biggest orchestrator of that.
Yeah.
I remember we would for hours plan out the match. This is the move, then we go into this move.
Yeah, we choreographed.
Poor Matthew was terrible at remembering the moves.
Yeah.
And we always got super pissed.
And his lines too.
And his lines too, yeah. Matthew was always struggling out there, but he had the heart in it, which is what mattered.
Yeah.
But I remember we made a few videos in a row where I tried to create a storyline, but you and Matthew got super uninterested in it after, and it was I was the only one trying to push it.
I was just about the fighting.
Exactly, you were just out there to fight, have a good time.
Yeah, you came out with the entrance song, dance, everything.
With the bell, I'll definitely show a clip of at least one of the fights that we had. There was one that me and Matthew fought each other, and you were behind the camera narrating the entire thing. It was super squeaky voice, but it was amazing.
That is fun.
I'm so glad that video exists.
The following is a triple threat match, and it is for the WWE Championship. Introducing first from under the trampoline, we have Hornswoggle. Ding, ding, ding! This is the #1 contenders match for the WWE Championship. Oh, what a crossbody!
But no, that's definitely a good media topic to bring up. We spent years obsessed with that, and more than like me. So probably for you, like when you think of that, you think of more of like me.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Okay. So we got our drinks again. Cheers.
Cheers.
Michael picked out these specific beautiful glasses for us to make sure we had a fancy pod here.
Make sure all the other groomsmen know what's up.
And they're jealous of the cups we had for this time. But yeah, for the shared media, I was saying it was a little bit difficult for me to think of something because like we grew up so close together that we watched like all the same movies. We played like all the same video games, like so much too. Like different things that I thought of. They're all honorable mentions.
Yeah, you're like a third brother that didn't live with me.
Yeah, dude, I was always with you guys, and for you guys, like I grew like I mentioned in the other pods that I will say this every podcast that you're my brother or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say that every podcast because they are, but in different capacities, different moments of my life or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like you, like legitimately are the closest thing, or you and Matthew and Marcus are the closest thing that I have to a brother. Because number one, we share half the DNA.
Right.
We are literally blood.
Yeah.
You, Michael, you, Matthew, and Marcus are the only groomsmen that I have that are like literally blood related to me.
And you have only sisters.
And I have only sisters. So like I did so much with you guys growing up that it's hard to like pull out a distinct thing of like, oh, this was the first thing we were really into, or this was the thing, whatever. So like
also my parents like really like taking you out with us, like
because I was the first boy of the family, so even before you were born,
that's true. That's probably
So like, and then on top of that, they had boys, and like I assume wanted us to be close. Obviously our moms are super close, twins literally. But yeah, so I was growing up. I was always with you guys, and so it was hard for me to think of like a specific video game. List off right now. I'm gonna list off a bunch of honorable mentions. I thought of Halo Reach. Played all the time. Yes. WWE, obviously, we played all the time. GTA 5, we played all the time. Those were all Xbox.
You still haven't said one that I'm still thinking
before the Xbox, on the Wii, we played Super Smash Brothers all the time. We played Mario Kart all the time. On the DS, we played Super Mario Brothers all the time. Even just like the little mini games and stuff like that.
You still haven't said the one I'm thinking of. Lego Star Wars.
Lego Star Wars. That's another one that I thought of as like maybe an option.
All the Lego ones. Bro.
But the Lego Star Wars, Lego Marvel, Lego Batman, Lego DC.
Bro, Lego everything, to be honest.
Lego everything. No,
the Lego gameplay.
The Lego game.
That was like the second media. That was the second media I've had of, and then Kanye too.
The thing with Kanye, the reason that I wouldn't consider him as part of like something that I was thinking of was, although you picked it as your favorite artist, I picked it as my favorite artist. I don't know if like we necessarily like together.
Yeah, we didn't. That's the thing.
Grew up with it.
Yeah,
you know?
I really got into Kanye freshman year when he dropped Life of Pablo. That's like when I really got into him. So yeah, that's true. That didn't have anything to do with you or Matthew or whatever. That was just like, but we all ended up liking Kanye.
Exactly. Both you, Matthew, and me chose Kanye West as our favorite artist, and that was not at all a thing that we like conjured up together. You know, like I was never like showing you Kanye.
Right. Exactly.
Of all the different medias, I actually thought about it. Like, music is probably the one that I share the least with you, because when you're younger, you don't really have like a sense of like the type of music you like.
Like even Marcus now he's just getting into music.
Just getting into it.
And it's so funny to see because like he never listened to music before, but now he's like getting into like Post Malone and all this shit.
A bunch of random stuff. Random to hear from him.
I'm asking him about Utopia now. You know, it's funny.
So that like music was the one that I thought like we had the least in common, but even movies on top of that we had. Like the Avengers movie, I remember. So we got into like Thor and Captain America with our Uncle Al. Like we watched them together for the first time at his house, and then the first MCU movie, Marvel movie I remember seeing in theaters was Avengers, and I went with you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, with you, Matthew,
I remember
Marcus.
Iron Man, the first Iron Man. My dad took me for the Iron Man though.
I didn't see Iron Man in theaters, so
I definitely remember being like super into Marvel with you though.
Yeah, exactly. That was
you were really super into Marvel.
Yeah, still am.
I was just in Mexico and it was his birthday Wednesday, the kid I went to go see. I went to go see him and then I went with another friend and then I went with Matthew. But the kid I went to see, he's a huge Marvel nerd. He might be like the only person I know that might be a bigger Marvel nerd than you.
Really?
Yes, like
Wow.
he knows a lot about his name is
Do I know him?
Andres. No,
No.
I mean maybe.
I don't think I've met him.
Isn't it Andres Fernandez? But yeah, he's
Shout out Andres Fernandez.
Yeah, shout out Andres, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Andres.
But yeah, he's a really big Marvel nerd, but he doesn't really care for Star Wars, which is funny.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Star Wars is definitely better than Marvel, in my opinion. Especially nowadays, Marvel stuff.
I
Doesn't
haven't
compare.
seen so many Marvel movies. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxies,
Volume
Guardians
3.
of the Galaxy, yeah, Volume 3.
It's amazing.
Then I
You
haven't
need to
seen-
watch that.
I haven't seen, dude, I don't even know.
The shows,
I haven't seen the new Ant-Man,
it's not that good.
then I haven't
Have
seen,
you seen the new Thor?
I didn't see the Black Widow. I did see the new Thor.
You haven't seen Black Widow?
No, I haven't seen Black Widow.
There's also the Black Panther too.
I haven't seen Black
Have
Panther.
you seen Shang-Chi?
I have seen that one.
Shang-Chi was
that
really
one,
good.
That was like one of the best Marvel movies in my opinion for a while, just because it was like completely new stuff, you know, like.
Shang-Chi is like in my top 10 Marvel movies ever.
Probably my top 10 too, but
I mean, now there's like
I love
30-something
the
movies.
Thor movies. Those are like my favorites.
Did you like Thor: Love and Thunder, the last one?
Not really. Like
Yeah.
I liked it because I like Thor, but like compared to the other Thor movies, it was shit.
Yeah, man, it was such a disappointment too.
Yeah.
Because Thor Ragnarok,
Dude,
it's
yes.
so good.
Yeah,
man.
that was for sure my favorite Thor.
It's so
I
good.
also did love the first Thor. And I also like Thor because it was like so different. That's another reason why I like Iron Man so much too. Because like the first Iron Man movies were like so unique from the rest of Marvel, and like they kind of set the tone for Marvel. But also Iron Man was always like his own character with his own story, you know.
But yeah, that was like the original Avengers is another media that I thought of bringing up. But in the end, I decided to go with something that is, it has two meanings, and that's why I picked it. I have it here on my iPad. I don't even know if you remember this, because we were really young when this was, like, when we were into this. But do you remember the Mickey, Donald, and Goofy Three Musketeers movie?
I do, but not like.
Not
I don't remember what happens.
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember what happens either.
Yeah.
But I brought this up as like the media that I wanted to bring up because although we were into all those other things and a bunch of others that we for sure like
Yeah.
forgot right now.
I was little though.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
This was a movie that I remember. Like you guys had that car that had like the DVD player inside of it,
Mm-hmm.
and like this was one of the movies you guys had.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it a lot with you guys.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I brought it because it's like the Three Musketeers is like you, me, and me,
Right.
you, and Matthew.
Yeah,
Are like
right.
the Three Musketeers. Like we were always together growing up.
Yeah.
One Valentina's
Crying in the back.
crying in the
Being
background.
a little baby.
If she doesn't hop in the pod, we'll at least like show her in a video or something. If she doesn't
Yeah.
want to come over here. We'll show her a little video here. Here we go. Let's introduce Valentina real
Yeah.
quick.
We're gonna introduce you.
She's a small little dog.
This is Valentina.
This is Valentina, the Doberman. Your family's fifth Doberman? Something
My
around there?
third, but yeah, probably my dad's fourth or fifth.
And they're all within the same line, right? They're all
yes.
related?
They're all related, yes. They're all
Exactly.
from the same line.
Honestly, Valentina, I would say top two is for me personally. Valentina and Tebow were the
Tebow definitely has to be my one.
yeah.
He
'cause
was-
you grew up with him the most.
Yeah, exactly, and he was aggressive, but like I love sleeping in the house knowing that if anyone walked in, Tebow would kill them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Shout out John. He bit John's butt. One of the first times
Yeah.
John went to your house, Tebow bit his butt.
Yeah.
But yeah, Three Musketeers. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you related to this: if me, you, and Matthew were the Three Musketeers, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, who's who?
Okay, I'm definitely Goofy.
Easily.
You're probably Mickey, and then Matthew's Donald.
Is Matthew default Donald because I'm Mickey and you're Goofy, or is he like have anything to do with actually Donald?
That's a good question. Maybe he's default Donald.
Do you think Matthew could play the role of Mickey if I wasn't in your mind so clearly Mickey? Or you think like Matthew deserves his own character, like Minnie, Matthew's Minnie or something?
I don't know. It's just
Pluto.
it's hard to describe Matthew in a Disney character. Because like I feel like Matthew's like a smart guy, and none of these characters are like I would say are smart. I would say Mickey for you because I guess you're the oldest and you're the leader, and then Goofy because like I'm a blonde ass guy, you know, so like
You're really goofy.
yeah, it makes him dumb. I'm quirky. I'm quirky.
I'm a little silly.
Yeah, but yeah, and then But yeah, I guess Matthew's default.
Default Donald. Sorry, Matthew.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my media. Another music I wanted to mention. I mentioned this on John's podcast later on, but you didn't see it. Was that time that you guys visited me at UF and we were playing Rocket League or something, and you were playing music on the thing. You played like an Oliver Tree song.
Oh.
Very, very tiny moment in the span of our relationship. But you did put me on Oliver Tree. That was interesting. Like, I'd never heard him before. You put him on, I was like, oh, this guy's cool.
Honestly, I haven't been listening to him that much, but yeah.
Yeah, it was years since then, but yeah, so that's good. So you brought up WWE. I think it's a great one. Yeah. I had the Three Musketeers as well as all the honorable mentions. Yeah. But we can move into the next segment. This is the second to last segment, and this segment I've been changing up a little bit depending on who I am sitting with. Mm-hmm. The first person, Kevin, is married and has a kid, so he's very much into what this segment is. But this segment is for asking for advice, in general, just advice or whatever. Kevin, again, he's married and has a kid, so it's easy for him to give advice about like things that I may be coming into in the next few years or whatever.
So you're asking me for advice? Yes,
but before you just spit out your advice, I have a spin on it. I have a bit of a spin on it.
I would just preach.
So exactly. So for John, I knew that he had seen Kevin's podcast, and I knew that for sure John had something prepared. Like I know I'm gonna say at this part. Okay. So because of that, I asked John to give Carla advice on marrying a Smith. So that was a little bit of a different angle on the advice section. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same in the same vein. I'm going to ask you for advice, yes, but in not necessarily like marriage advice or relationship advice or whatever. One thing that I wanted to ask you, you are, along with Matthew again, it is what it is, you guys are linked forever. Yeah. Along with Matthew, out of all of my groomsmen, the most like world traveled. You literally came back from Mexico today, but also you've been to Peru, El Salvador, Spain. Yeah. On top of that, you've been like around the US in a bunch of different places, Colorado, whatever. You're very well traveled and because of that, I think you have a certain perspective that you may not even realize that you have, but a certain perspective on like different cultures and different lifestyles and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. So I guess my advice is kind of vague, and I have a second part to it that may make it more specific. But the first part of it is, through all your travels, do you think that you've learned any life lessons that you think that I can learn from? If not me, then anyone else who's watching this, but something you learned through your travels.
Not to say that you're not open-minded, but I guess a big thing is to be open-minded. And like, not that they do crazy weird stuff in Spain, but like you go to Spain and they're eating like huge meals in the middle of the day or whatever, like, or like you see weird people on the street yelling about some shit, or just in New York you see that shit. In Mexico you see a lot of weird stuff. Like everyone hates people hate the police more than they hate the drug dealers, you know, like a lot of crazy stuff. And like people are just living, you know, they're all just living their lives. And
how do you think that's different from the US? Like when you say they're just living their lives, how's that different from people here?
Like, I feel, especially in the US, people are a lot more concerned about money and politics, and they don't believe in God as much. And I feel like it's stuff that's like distractions from happiness, especially talking about Spain, because I feel like Spain is definitely one of those countries where it's like a very old country, so they have a lot of history, so they don't need to like, I mean, of course there still are people that worry about politics and all this bullshit, but like they I feel like they have a lifestyle more based on like happiness more than like making as much money as possible, versus in America, you know, where it's like about as much money as possible for the most part. Also, we got lucky because we're Latin, and I feel like Latin people in general just have like stronger familial bonds, and family is very important and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a big thing, is like have your strong morals, but be open-minded and don't judge people for maybe the weird stuff they do in their country, you know.
What do you think are some weird things that we do here that you think that if somebody from Spain or Mexico or wherever you've been would come here and see it's like weird?
I mean, let's see. I guess driving at 16 is a big thing. They always talk about like, you know, people drive at 16, like that's crazy, but they let people drink at 18, you know. So it's like, it's what else? I feel like just the culture about like is not as much centered around family and happiness. It's more centered about like money and being successful, right?
Yeah.
And
no, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I agree with that. I think one thing, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, one thing that I think Americans in general, again, it's different for us because I feel like Miami is a different country on its own because we're all Hispanic, Latin, like backgrounds. But one thing that about like Americans in general, it is a lot more of like success to them is measured by how much money you make or how much whatever, rather than like the bond you have with your family or like the happiness you get through like the simple things in life. And I feel like the simple things in life are so much more important in other countries than it is here.
Yeah.
At least the importance they put on those things.
Yeah.
Even like in Spain, for example, like the siesta that they have like in the middle of the day. It's just like everyone just goes home. Everyone just goes home and chills or like has a good lunch or whatever, meets up with their family. Like that's insane. Like I can't imagine that happening in the US. Yeah. And like that's such an amazing thing. Like like what I value in life the most is like family and like just like genuine happiness or whatever, which I don't get through the money or jobs or whatever. Like I get that through the relationships that I have with people. Yeah. So the fact that they value it enough to like break out a specific part of your day to just be like, go nurture these relationships is crazy. Yeah. Like, that's like something I just genuinely very much appreciate of at least Spain, like for sure. But no, that's good. The second part of this answer, brought to you by Miriam Smith, my mom. I was talking to her about this part of the podcast, and I didn't know exactly what to bring up, and she thought of this because you're so well traveled, and this is a podcast about our relationship, but also on top of that about me and Carla getting married and all that. If you were to plan our honeymoon, where do you think that me and Carla should go?
That is a good question. Okay, well, Mexico was really fun, and I guess it could be a honeymoon spot, but I feel like you should do better than that. Bro, honestly, I wouldn't recommend a place I've been. I mean, I've been to a lot of cool places, but I would more recommend a place I haven't been. I feel like that's always more fun to go to a place you haven't been.
But what if it's a place that we haven't been that you have?
I don't know you've been to Spain. That'd probably be like my biggest recommendation, but obviously you've been to Spain. El Salvador is fun. The thing is, the big thing about El Salvador is the surfing, and I know you're not that much of a surfer.
I've never surfed in my life, but
you probably like it, honestly.
I agree.
But like you're not gonna go on El Salvador just so you can surf, you know.
We spent a week in like surfing lessons.
Costa Rica was really cool, actually. It's very I don't know how to say it, the biome, I guess it's very cool, and it's like it changes a lot, and there's a lot of cool animals. The weather is very nice. The atmosphere is like very nice.
I'll let you in on a little secret right here. The first time I've mentioned this on the pod, me and Carla right now, we don't have our honeymoon planned specifically yet and any details of it, but right now we're leaning towards Costa Rica.
Oh shit!
So that's nice that's one of your top suggestions.
Okay, well, if you go to Costa Rica, you got to do this river rafting we did, and so what you do is like, they take you up this river in vans, and then they give you a raft with a guide. And then you go down the river, like halfway down the river, or whatever, and then they have like this resort halfway down the river, like in the middle of the jungle. And from the resort, you can go like walking on a bunch of different trails. You can go, first off, you can see a bunch of animals there just walking the trails, but they have like little pools of like clean ass water that's coming, like little waterfalls that you can jump in the pools and stuff like that. Like just a bunch of cool stuff. It's a really nice little place. And then also the river itself is beautiful between these mountains, and you can see like old stuff the natives have built. Like they have like these little bridge things that they used to build. But yeah, the water, just the way, there's one part it's like these giant stone walls, like maybe like 60-foot stone walls, and it's just like a perfect river like cut through 60-foot stone walls. And so like cool stuff. Then you can also surf there, and they have these the black sand beaches. So like it's volcanic ash. So first off, the sand itself is like super fine, and also it's black sand, which is cool to see. And you can surf there, which again, I know you're not a surfer, but you probably enjoy it, or you can boogie board there or whatever. But yeah,
No, yeah, I think we were thinking of Costa Rica because I know that you guys went and you guys had like an amazing time. You guys
Yeah.
always talk about it. And on top of that, like my parents went when they were younger and like they always talk
Yeah.
about it. That it was super cool.
It was.
But I think Costa Rica is good because there's a lot of different things you could do. Like you mentioned, the biome.
Yeah.
Like you could do like ATV riding, but you could also do the river rafting, or you could do like horseback riding. You could go to the beach. You could be at a resort.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of different things you
Right.
could do. And I think we wanted something that would be like relaxing in the sense of like we would have to go like explore the city or something. If we were to go to Europe, let's say, it'd be a lot more of like exploring different things, going to museums or going to different things like that. And in Costa Rica, like it'd be a little bit more like adventurous. And I think both me and Carla like wanted something more like that.
Yeah.
But also have like maybe we stay at a resort and we do those things
Right.
like whatever, we go out and do those things.
No, that would be cool.
But yeah, no,
That's
that's
the zip line. That was cool. Yeah.
I don't know if Carla would be down for ziplining. I would personally. I'd like to go.
It's pretty freaking scary. But
You did
but it's
ziplining
fun.
also recently in Peru, right?
Well, I didn't because it was
you
pretty
did?
freaking scary. But yeah, they did ziplining in Peru. But that zipline, oh my god, the thing is, that one you're going across like a freaking valley, like hundreds and hundreds of feet down. I mean,
Were you the only one that didn't do it?
me and my mom, and then like my
Your
grandma,
grandma.
and then their mom, TJ.
Oh.
My idea. But yeah, that was pretty scary.
Are you generally not a big heights guy, or no?
I'm not a big heights guy at all, but I do like to like face my fear of heights. You know,
Mhm.
like I don't know. That really gets my adrenaline pump. I don't get scared of a lot of things. That's the thing. Like I get scared of heights. I get scared of car accidents, and you know my family dying. You know, like
Oh God!
like those are like my three biggest fears.
Top
you know?
3 fears.
Yeah. You know, like scary movies, all that shit. Never. So I don't feel that adrenaline. So I love that adrenaline, like going up a height. You know, and like.
Well, I saw the video of you in Mexico. You jumped off like a 4-story something.
That was super
that was
cool.
super high.
That was. Super
I'll show a video of that for sure too. Too,
Dude,
but-
yeah, my heart was pounding, dude.
And your mom said you were like the first one to do it, right?
No.
You were-
I was not the first
Oh,
one to do
then
it.
maybe I'm wrong there, but
No, I
but
was
that
not.
was insane. Cause like we
That
used
was
to.
cool.
I mean, I remember like Joe's yacht.
Yeah.
Like
no.
we used to jump off that, but that was like 2 stories. Like this
Yeah,
was like
this
way
was-
higher
This was
than
like
that.
5 stories type of thing. Like
Yeah.
crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know if I would have done it. I think I would have, especially if I was like with a group of friends that everyone was doing
that's
it.
the thing.
Like I wouldn't have chickened out like that, but it is definitely scary. Like it was really high,
It was. Really
and like in the video it looked really high. When you're doing it yourself, I know for a fact.
You see my video?
it
I
seems-
keep looking over. I'm like, am I ready? Am I ready? I'm like,
No,
that's like it's still high. It's still high.
Something that I've mentioned before to some of my friends is like, you know the movie We Are the Millers?
Yeah.
So there's a part in the movie where like, I don't remember specifically what it is, but there's like a part where they say like when you want to do something you're a little bit nervous about, like count down from 10, and when you get to 1 you have to do it. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the thing you have to do. And I followed that since I saw that movie. It's like a comedy movie, but like that's something I took away from it that I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do this. And all the time, if I have like a difficult conversation I want to bring up or like anything that has to do with like building up some courage, I do that like count down from 10. When it's 1, you have to do it. That's so. If I'm in that situation, that's something that I would do. Is there something that you do at all, or are you just like waiting for it? Fuck it, I'll go, and then you jump.
I don't count down. It's a leap of faith.
It's a leap of faith. No, that's fair.
Literally a leap of faith.
That's good though. So hopefully we'll go to Costa Rica. I'm glad that you brought that up. I was hoping you would. If you
Yeah.
didn't, whatever. But yeah, I feel like that's where we're leaning towards. So we'll see.
I mean, Mexico was cool too, but Costa Rica I feel like is more. Dude, fuck, I'm gonna fuck up this stat now, but it's like Costa Rica makes like 2% of the world's land, and it has like over like 60% of the biodiversity, something like that. And then no, sorry, it has like, fuck, yeah, I forgot the stat, but it's like it's a very small country. It has like a lot of the biodiversity, and most of that is in insects. But what's crazy is when you're there, you're not getting insects on you. You know, you're not getting mosquito bites. You're like in jungle, humid jungle, but there's not mosquitoes like here. Like even just if you go outside my house right now, you get way more mosquitoes than you ever will in Costa Rica. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
That is something that I was a little bit concerned about, like the mosquitoes. But
Wow.
that's interesting.
I mean, even in Mexico, mosquitoes worse in Mexico than Costa Rica, but still like not as bad as here.
Really? That's
Yeah.
interesting because I feel like it's not terrible here. Like you go to specific parts here, it's worse than worse than if you're just like walking on the street. But like
the worst place I've been for mosquitoes is the Keys or the
Yeah.
Everglades.
Yeah.
Even the Keys or the Everglades.
yeah,
But after that, probably be my ranch during the summer, and then probably Mexico. But like Mexico is like,
wasn't that bad?
no, it wasn't that bad. You know, it's like mosquito bite an hour maybe. You know? If you want to go by, if you want to give it a stat or whatever.
All right, cool. So I'm glad you mentioned Costa Rica, but we're moving in now to the final segment of the podcast.
Shit, okay.
It is a shame that it's coming to an end.
Okay.
But I don't know how you'll feel about this, because honestly, like, it is not something we talk about often. But I'm going to give you your flowers.
Okay.
So what that means is I'm going to tell you why I love you, why you're my groomsman, like how much you mean to me.
This is the worst segment.
As you can imagine, John was fucking dying at this segment.
Yeah.
This was the segment that he was most nervous about.
Oh god.
Kevin did pretty well, I would say, but John was really nervous here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a little bit sentimental in some of the things I say. Maybe I don't think it'll be like too sentimental, like anything. But I'm going over 5 things that I either appreciate about you or something that I've noticed about you as like a distinct trait about you that I really love.
Okay.
But let's just get into it. So the first one I have, we've mentioned multiple times here, but I have goofy/silly. You're definitely, I mean, since we were children, like you've always been someone to just like, you were always just messing around and like always had something funny to say, like, and not necessarily like funny, like a joke for sure. Like it was just some stupid shit you were doing that was like always hilarious. You have a distinct quality to be goofy, silly, and quirky. Little crazy little boy. But that's the first one that I had for you. A distinct thing that I admire about you, because it is like really funny. Like you're fun to be around.
I don't take life seriously.
Exactly, you never have. And that brings me into one of my other ones that I'll go into last, because I think that one's probably the best one. But next I have sweet. I think it's like, this is definitely a more lovey-dovey one, but I think it's like it's not necessarily something I've ever brought up to you, but I think you are really sweet, and it may be weird for you to hear that from me, because we've never spoken about like how much we love each other or anything like that. Like we never get into it. Even though like obviously you're one of my groomsmen that I love the most. Like you were, like I said, grew up together more than anyone else here, really. Yeah. Even if you want to compare it to Matthew, I grew up with you more because you were a year earlier.
Yeah, right.
But I don't remember that, but it is what it is. But yeah, you're a really sweet guy. Like honestly, I think I've noticed it most as we've gotten older, and the way that like, I would say as we've gotten older, we've grown a little bit apart. And not because of anything specific, obviously, just because like we're older, we're more busy.
Our own lives.
Exactly. We went our separate ways.
Our parents don't take us to Disney anymore.
Exactly. They don't sit us in a room and throw in some movie or anything like that. But which is fine. Like it is what it is. But at the same time, like every time I meet up with you, like you're always very interested in like anything I'm doing. Like you're always asking questions, and like that may be something that you don't realize is like a thing that's like distinct about you, but it is really sweet. Like it is nice that you care about my life and like what I'm doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's the big brother in me though. Honestly, like I think about that with my friends too, because with my friends I always act like the big brother, like the responsible one, like I'm always the one that's trying to take care of people, and like I really think it's the big brother. Like there's something like, it's something like nature in me, you know. Like it's something just like I gotta make sure this guy's okay, you know.
Do you think if Marcus didn't exist, if it was just you and Matthew, do you think that you would feel that as much, or do you think like Marcus added a new layer because he was so much younger and Matthew was more closer to you?
No, I would definitely feel it as much. I mean, it's definitely different being around Marcus and being with Matthew, but I definitely still feel it with Matthew. Like even though he's just 16 months younger than me, I still like gotta feel like I'm the older, I'm the leader, you know. Yeah, it sounds weird, but yeah.
No, that's really sweet. Like as I mentioned before, like I've always seen you guys as like twins, pretty much. In my mind, like my earliest memories, you guys were both there. Yeah. So for me, you guys are pretty much like equal in age and stuff like that. Yeah. for you, I mean, you are the older brother. It is what it is. Like, you're a year older than him. You have experiences a year before him in most cases.
It's weird. Because, like, I don't know what it's like to have an older brother, but I know what it's like to have, like, you. So, like, the person I looked up to would have been, like, you. But I know, like, for, like, how the way I felt to you, Matthew definitely, like, felt a certain way type of me. So, like, I had to be that older brother to him. I'm not sure if, like, you ever felt that, like, you had to, like, impress someone older than you or whatever it was, or, like, you had to get someone's approval or whatever. You wanted them to be proud of you and stuff like that.
Yeah, one thing I mentioned for sure in Kevin and John's podcast, as I mentioned, you were the first person that I've interviewed or whatever in the podcast that is younger than me. But one thing for Kevin, I would say Kevin even more because, whatever, you know the gang. Like, we have different, like, everyone's a different age or whatever.
Yeah.
On top of me directly is Josh, and Kevin's the oldest guy. So to me, Kevin was like...
Your older brother,
was like the oldest, like he was like the role model, you know? Like, obviously Josh was 2 and I was a lot closer to Josh growing up because we were closer in age and our sisters were like the same age, so we were always together. But like Kevin was like the guy I looked up to, and then at the same level, John too. Like, I didn't know John, I haven't known John my whole life, but I was super young when I met him. I was like 14 years old. And obviously you grow a lot in high school, college, and John was always like that just older than me, like brother that I had looking up to. But it is interesting to hear the perspective of, like, me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but, like, me possibly being that to you.
No, yeah, you were definitely, like my older brother figure in a way.
Yeah. And it is interesting because, like, I'm sure Kevin had someone too. Like, for whatever. For you, it's me. For me, it's Kevin. And I'm sure Kevin had somebody too that he looked up to as, like, the older figure in his life.
Yeah.
But, and for Michael, and for Marcus and Matthew, it was you, you know? And eventually, I'm sure Matthew and Marcus will be someone for someone else, you know? Like, it's just like a cycle.
No, yeah, like, that's one of the things I was talking to about my friends before. Like, they said, like, oh, I feel like Matthew, like, they said something along the lines, like, I feel like Matthew, like, spends more time with Marcus, or, like, he's more, like, in tune with Marcus. And I said, yeah, but it's because, like, Matthew was never the older brother until Marcus came, you know? So, when Marcus came, Matthew understood what it's like to be, like, the older brother, to have someone to look up to you. So that's why he's always been, like, super cariñoso and stuff with Marcus.
Exactly. You know? I mean, I think, honestly, I would say, like, Matthew and Marcus have, like, a distinct, like...
Yeah, they also, like, their genetics are way, like, probably twins, you
exactly.
know?
Like, they're a lot more alike than you are.
Than even me and Matthew,
Exactly, yeah. And that's not a knock on you or Matthew or Marcus. It's just, like, it is what it is. Yeah. But, yeah, like, I would say they're a lot more similar to each other. Even in looks, like, whatever. But no, one thing I've always noticed again, even if it's just a thing of, like, the older brother in you, you've always been super sweet. Like, even to Carla, like, you've always been, like, since, I don't know if you remember even meeting Carla, like, the first time you met her.
I feel like one of the first times I met her was when you used to fucking wrestle with her on your couch and stuff. that had to be one of the first times I met her, probably.
You joined in on that.
No, there was, what was it? It was like it was like a field day at St. Brendan, and it was like my freshman year at Columbia. So I was going into my freshman year, and there was like water. It was like water
field day. Yeah.
I feel like you guys had like these ferries or whatever. What are they called? Floats. The floats. You guys were making like water floats or with bubbles or something like that. And I feel like that's the first time I met Carlo.
Really?
I don't
remember that at all.
That was like way before like
we were dating. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, like. I forgot to mention this, but I wanted to ask you, back when we were talking about how we met way in the beginning, like, I wanted to mention how you met Carla. That was, like, something I had in my mind.
But I feel like that was probably the first time I met her, but the first time I guess I really introduced myself and got to know her was probably, when you used to fucking wrestle with her.
we were watching Star Wars, episode 6. Yeah. And that was, like, before me and Carla were dating. That was, like, when we were just friends. And we had gotten closer because she started coming over to my house to watch Star Wars. Like, I had asked her if she had ever seen Star Wars before. She had it, and I was like, I gotta show it to you.
You were saucing with Star Wars.
Exactly, I was saucing with Star Wars. So we watched, like, all first, like, that was before the new trilogy even came out, so it was just 6 movies at that time. Yeah. We were watching episode 6, and I remember, like, you watched that with us.
In your parents' room.
In my parents' room, They had, like, people over, so we were just, like, in my parents' room.
I remember that.
Yeah, no, that was for sure one of the earliest memories I have with you and Carla together. Yeah. But I didn't know if you had, like, met her before that or anything. But no, I mean, you've always been super sweet with Carla too, and it's something I genuinely appreciate. I've never said that to you, but it is something, like, really sweet that I appreciate.
I really like Carla. She's definitely a good addition to the family.
Shout out Carla.
Shout out Carla, Ramon. Cousin-in-law.
Let's go. Cheers to Carla.
Cheers to Carla. go.
No, yeah, but yeah, sweet is my next thing that I had. So goofy, silly, quirky, and then we got sweet.
Yeah.
Next thing is courageous. This is something I can say about all the Montero boys. You guys are always fucking doing some weird ass shit. Like
probably mostly about Matthew.
Maybe mostly about Matthew, but you too, man. Like even when I was a kid, like I didn't like riding roller coasters, or like I was scared so much. And I think that's mostly because the other half of our DNA that is not linked is my dad and your dad. And my dad is not courageous and things like that, and your dad is like way too courageous.
Way too courageous.
And things like that. So it probably came from that. But regardless, like it was something like you were younger than me and you were doing shit that like I was like, I'm not doing that. So again, it could maybe be said about all the Montero boys, but for sure something that I admire about
definitely about Marcus, man. Not like, oh my god, like he started driving when he's 13 on the ranch.
Oh
you know,
my god, yeah, maybe even earlier than 13. He was riding a bike at like 3 years old. Like,
yeah, that was one of the things because like, even though Marcus is 7 years younger than me, I still never realized like how much younger than me he was when I was little. You know, so like when I'm like dirt bike riding in 5th grade, he's dirt bike riding in fucking the pre-K or some shit, you know?
Yeah. That's crazy, yeah. Dude, Marcus, even the skateboarding camp that he went to.
That was crazy. He did the mini mega ramp, which is like,
bro.
It's not his mini mega ramp, but it's a fucking mega ramp. It's huge.
Like, forget when I was his age not doing that. I wouldn't do that today. 100% I'd be too afraid to do that. He's there, like, just throwing it down, like, any chance he gets. But no, but also you have that trait too, and like I'm sure he saw that in you and Matthew also, right? Like you guys doing all this shit, and he's like, okay, I gotta do that too.
He's gotta keep up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But even me, 2 years older than you, saw you guys doing it. I was like, I gotta keep up. Like that was something that like I was never used to. Obviously, Stephanie and Sabrina weren't out there doing kickflips or whatever it is. Like so, like looking back on like you
didn't want to dance at Roxy.
Exactly. That was something that I strayed away from a little bit, but. But seeing you guys do the courageous shit that like I wasn't even courageous enough to do inspired me to be a little bit more courageous than I probably would have been if I didn't have any relationship with you guys or you guys were out of the picture or whatever it is. So that's my third thing. Fourth thing is probably something that like anyone would agree with, and it's not super sentimental, but it's that you're super chill. You are like the most chill person I know. Yeah. You could sit on the couch for like 3 hours and do nothing, say not a single word, and just be there chilling. Yeah. In any situation, like I don't necessarily know what makes you anxious or nervous or whatever, but like from my perspective, you are always the most fucking chill person about anything in the world. Like the world could be on fire and you're just there chilling. Like you have no worries in the world. And whatever, again, maybe that's just my perception of you, but for sure, like, chill is something I think of when I think of Michael. I mentioned it in my intro. You are super chill. And the last thing that I think is maybe the most sentimental is genuine. Like, I think I haven't noticed, you notice it a lot in your friends growing up, especially in high school, where you see, like, people changing in front of certain people or, like, trying to be cool or trying to be whatever. You forever... For my entire life, I have never noticed you not being yourself. Yeah. Like unapologetically Michael, whatever that means. If you're the chillest in the room, if you're super sweet, if you're goofy and silly, if you're courageous, whatever it is, like I've never seen you being fake. And I don't know, maybe you are not in front of me.
No, but I definitely got a lot of that from you for sure. Cause like I really like. I don't know how to describe it, but the way you would talk about things, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that because that would seem fake, and like that would rub off on me, and like I understood that because like I don't want to be fake either, you know, I want to like represent myself as myself, and like that's something that definitely came off of you on me very hard, you know, and I try to be unique in my own person and not trying to let other people influence me.
That means a lot to me because
that's definitely something I get from you a lot.
That means a lot to me because, like I've said, like I have a lot of people that I look up to in my life, and it's not as many people that I feel like look up to me specifically, and whatever. Maybe you, Matthew, and Marcus do, but that means a lot to me. So thank you.
For sure we do. For
sure. But no, I mean it's not to take away your own part in that because it's easy to see. Like let's say I was this genuine whatever. It's easy to just be like easily. Like conforming into other things of like you doing whatever everyone else is doing, and I feel like so many people do that, like try to be cool and try to be whatever and like let go of who they really are, and I've never seen that in you. You've always been super genuine, like I said, genuine Michael you are who you are, and you're and that is a trait that a lot of people don't have. And as I've mentioned in John and in John and Kevin's podcast as well, a lot of these things that I'm mentioning that I admire about you, they may not recognize themselves because they are that way. And it's just something that, like, because of their perspective of them being that way, they don't notice it about themselves. That is something that I want you to notice. Like, you are extremely genuinely yourself, and that's fucking awesome. Like, that is super cool. And, like, I would 100% rather be friends with, I'm not saying you're a weirdo, but be friends with a weirdo that is themselves than somebody that is trying to be cool and, like, trying to be the type of friend that they think I would be.
No, yeah, same.
And that's something that, like, I've never seen you not be yourself. And I really appreciate that. That's something that, like, you're always super real.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say the same about you, though.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. But that's my last one. That's my last thing that I have to say about you. Giving your flowers. We're coming up on, I haven't even checked the time. We're coming up at 1 hour and 38 minutes.
Oh, damn.
So it's pretty good. I'll probably cut out a little bit, especially of us, like, when we refill the drinks and stuff like that. But what have you thought about the podcast so far? Or not so far, it's coming again. But what did you think of the podcast?
Fun. I listen to a lot of podcasts on YouTube and stuff like that. Shout out Andrew Schultz. Shout out Joe Rogan. Shout out Tom Segura. I love those podcasts.
Yeah, they're definitely watching. So.
But yeah, so I always imagine, like, what would it be like to be on Joe Rogan? You know? So this is my opportunity.
Yeah, this is pretty much Joe Rogan.
That's Joe Rogan.
The equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that surprised you about this process of doing the podcast at all?
I guess I did. Like, Marcus, when he came up, he's like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "No, I wasn't nervous." But then when we started, I got a little bit nervous. But nah, I guess not that much. I knew you're a creative video guy, you know, so I knew it'd be something I wouldn't expect in a way. But
steer us in the right direction.
Yeah.
No, I think I was most nervous for Kevin's because it was the first one, and but after I did Kevin's, I was like, oh, this is gonna be super easy with everyone else. Because it really is just like we're having a conversation, and there's different segments too to break it up in, like, sections.
Yeah.
So it's like easy to talk about it or whatever. But yeah, this has been the 12 Delves podcast, third episode. Michael, come here and hug me as my brother, as my cousin. I fucking love you.
Yeah, bro.
If I didn't make that clear enough, I love you.
I love you too.
I love you too.
I love you too. Third brother.
Third brother. There you go.
Fourth brother now.
There you go. But this has been the 12 Delve podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for tuning in for about probably an hour and a half at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned for the next. It'll be a surprise guest. Who's gonna be next? Who's gonna be next? Cheers. Peace.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
Oh my God. What was your favorite segment?
The last one. No, I couldn't.